Welcome to the podcast with your favorite cash flow guys, Mike and Blaine. Giving you the best advice while having a beer. When you're running a business, there are problems every day. Let Mike and Blaine help you out and guide your way. Cheers to the good times with Mike and Blaine for business, beer, and BS.
Oh, I was way off that time, but hey, it's episode 204. Mike and Blaine. My name is Mike Blaine, also known as Cashflow Mike. That is my friend, my partner, Blaine Birch, the CEO and co-founder of Dry Run. What's up, man?
It is the birthday episode, and it's your birthday actually tomorrow, but it's the Mike Milan birthday episode, which also means it's the whiskey episode.
Oh, yeah. See, now last time I got in trouble, last birthday, 1 year ago, I got in trouble right after this because of the way I felt after the episode. So let's try not to get in trouble this time.
We will do the light whiskey episode. So I poured a very light whiskey today, and
all right, so I went with the Bullet Rye. By the way, Bullet Rye is my favorite. It is my thing. It's my birthday, so I'm going to drink my favorite, but I like the Bullet Rye, so I'm going to have that. Cheers. Happy birthday. 5-5. 5-5. Can you believe that?
A round number. There you go.
Yeah, saying you love the round numbers, right? So, but I also did bring a beer. This is what's designed to keep me out of trouble.
All right.
You know, the thermostat's on fire. It says, hey, crank that AC, right? It's a Texas Coast IPA from Saloon Door Brewery. So another Texas brewery that I found. So, I mean, yeah, I just loved it for the virtual. So I don't get in trouble. I'm not going to drink as much whiskey as I normally do. You'll probably see me sip on a beer once in a while.
I have a little jug of water here to go with my whiskey in case water. Otherwise, if I keep pouring, it'll just keep going down. That's not a good thing. Okay, so I'm going to feature a whiskey today. So this is your birthday whiskey. What's that?
Wait a second. Yeah, that was water. You know what water does? It puts blood in your alcohol system. Aren't you aware of that?
Keeps me hydrated.
Oh yeah, that's right. You're healthy.
Yeah, no, just be hydrated, and I like my whiskey neat. So I'm not putting ice in there. I did put 3 little tiny drops of water, but that's all. But so for your birthday episode today, I picked Port Charlotte 10, and it's the heavily peated Islay single malt Scotch. So this is actually a Bruichladdich product, the Port Charlotte sort of series, the Port Charlotte heavily peated. Yeah, I just felt like maybe a little bit of peat today. So it's peaty. It's a little bit peaty, but it's good.
Dude, I can't do it. It's too earthy. I don't think my Scotch buds are in yet. I think I got to turn like 60 before they come in or something because it's too earthy, right? It's like I licked the ground when I taste something like that.
It just depends on them. I've got some that you might really like that aren't peaty, that are just a really nice, beautiful Scotch. But this one's it's got a little bit of leather to it and a little bit of I don't know, burnt something or other all mixed into there. So.
All right, so we have 0 whiskey sponsors. So maybe that's a thing. Maybe you could be a whiskey, but we have 0. Yeah. But we have tons of beer sponsors, right? So, hey, who you got? Who you want to start with?
Yeah, so I'm going to start with thanking Rachel Barnett from Gentle Frog for my whiskey today, because you could sponsor my glass of whiskey, I guess. And if you have a small business and you need to know how to use QuickBooks Online, which you likely do, go check out her YouTube channel at YouTube/@GentleFrog. She has a ton of videos to tell you how to do that, or you just go to her website at gentlefrog.com. And thanks again, Rachel.
Yeah, we also got Karen Harrison. I just talked to her yesterday. She's excited. She's a little nervous about speaking at the conference, so I bet she's practicing every minute to go speak at the national conference for the Small Business Development Centers down in Orlando in 2 weeks. So I'll see her in person. But if you want to talk to her about cash flow in your business, contact her at 3smartconsulting.com. 3smartconsulting.com. That's Karen, and thank you for sponsoring the show.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Karen. And neighbor Pat your neighbor, Pat, who always brings you beer, but I'm going to thank him. He's been on the show. He was on our 200th episode, anniversary episode. Thanks again, Pat. We always appreciate you supporting the show, listening to the show, making comments, and playing cornhole with Mike.
Hey, this guy's been absent though. I haven't seen him in like 2 weeks. I don't know where's he been. So if you're listening to this show and you're not texting in, and you're down there, he's two doors down, but he's not calling. He's not saying hi, bye, kiss my ass, nothing. This guy is just silent. So I miss you. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to say.
Pat got busy. Are you sure he didn't just go somewhere on vacation? That's that time of year. Right?
That could have been. He could be on vacation. Okay. But yeah, so we also have Devin, the biggest LSU, and he is our connection to Netflix. We are sponsored now by Netflix. Okay, I don't. Okay, that was an exaggeration. That's not true. But we are indirectly featured on Netflix by virtue of the largest LSU fan on the planet, Devin. So thank you for your support, Devin.
Who was on Netflix. And the screenshot, I don't know, is it on Facebook? It might be on Facebook. If it's not, we should put it up there. And also, Larry Weinstein, the Cashflow Cowboy. So if you are looking for a CPA, Larry's out in Houston, Texas, but he can work with you pretty much anywhere. So go check out Larry. He will get your books straight and get your business straight.
Yep. And then my man, Jeff Robertson, Jeff of Rabison.com. He is my marketing guru. He's the guy that does, if you see my social posters, you see those type of things, my YouTube videos, that's the guy, right? That does a lot of that for me. And I'm going to tell you what, interesting story about Jeff, right? We met at an annual SBDC conference like 2 years ago, right? 2 years ago. And then last year we became closer friends, and that's where we, hooked up and started working together. We both have a law enforcement background. So it's one of those things. It's like cops can sniff each other out in the room or something like that. So, but once you have that connection, it's an easy thing. But here's what I can tell you about Jeff. He gets stuff done. He doesn't mess around. I mean, he produces a lot of work in a short amount of time, and he's good at it. So if you need marketing help, contact Jeff.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks, Jeff. All right. Into the episode. All right, man. And, we're talking about AI again, which is great. That's got to be a topic that comes up all the time. It has to, because it's so topical, right?
Well, because what's happening is that my whole life is being taken over by it. I don't think I can turn anywhere without either being topic conversation, me using it, me trying to learn more about it, hearing it on the TV. It doesn't matter. So here's where the week started. Courtney knows somebody that was buying a car, and they were going to negotiate the car, and she used AI to do it, right? So, and explain some of the things, and there were some sneaky little things that came out. I'm like, oh, and but the thing is, I don't know if AI knows it or it's just bullshitting. I can't tell yet. But here's what happened. She took the quote, right, from the dealership. Took a picture of it, put it into ChatGPT, and say, explain this to me. And they go, oh, well, it seems like they're giving you this much for your trade-in, this much for the, a sales tax rebate, which I didn't really know anything about, which really isn't a thing to me. To me, I'm like, why would you put that on there? A sales tax rebate? Because all it really is, and that becomes one of my contention points. Yeah. But it also told her about, the value of the car, the rebates that are available, the financing specials that are available. After it described what all the aftermarket things that they were doing that she should push back on, that maybe she shouldn't have to pay for. It told her about whether or not it was a fair offer for a trade-in. The whole thing dissected this whole just picture. And then it said, here's some questions you should ask. And she said, well, I'm talking to the salesperson on text. And it says, here's some things you should text him. It was really weird. Like it knew the difference between, just talking to somebody or emailing somebody or texting somebody, and it changed the formatting of it, and the question. So that was kind of cool. Yeah. Well, the one thing that it pointed out, and this is a good thing, right? I mean, this is a good thing that AI has done. And I'm going to share some bad things and terrible things that it did too. But some good things were it talked about this sales tax rebate because the person that was interested in buying the car says you're undervaluing my car. And they say, no, we're not, because you also get the sales tax rebate, which makes the relative trade-in value higher. So instead of, we'll say $32,000, you get $2,000 rebate on sales tax. And so that means your trade-in is worth $34,000. I'm like going, that's bullshit.
That's
right?
bullshit, yeah.
Yeah, because here's how the sales tax rebate works. And I think if this is where I think the dealership was shady. Because the here's what it is. If you buy a car, you're going to pay sales tax on whatever that car was worth. Say you bought it for $50,000, you already paid sales tax on $50,000 worth, right? Yep. So if I go trade that in, and it's worth $30,000 in the trade-in, and I buy a $60,000 car, I should only have to pay tax on $30,000, the difference, because I already paid tax on the first 30, right? Mm-hmm. That's the way it works. Everybody gets that. It's not like we're increasing the value of your trade. I get that anyway. That's Texas state law. So they're not going to have to pay it. So we're like going, okay, well, that's bullshit. Why would they say that increases the value of your trade? Well, here's the way they should have presented it as, you don't get that, because the way she argued, and I got to kind of back it up. She says, I can go get more from somebody else in trade, or they'll buy it from me at Carvana or one of these places, and then I can come buy it from you. Mm-hmm. And they said, well, that's true. What they should have said was, if you do that, you can't get the sales tax rebate, because you have to buy and trade at the same dealership. That's the law. So anyway, but ChatGPT actually explained that whole process. I learned more about the sales tax rebate just because of, listening to the experience. Now, that's an actual good thing. This is where AI really did a good job for people don't get taken advantage of, right? With language and with numbers, because all they want you to do is tell them a monthly amount, and then they will do everything to pack in as much as they can for that monthly amount. Oh, you're willing to pay $1,000? Oh, great. Because if you didn't want anything, it'd be like $700. But if you want to pay $1,000, we're going to just stack you up until it makes $1,000 or $900. Yeah. And that's what we caught them doing with AI. Actually caught them actually adding in all this extra stuff they want to do, undercoding and all these things that they just wrapped into one line item that says protection package. Yeah. That she didn't need. They weren't even going to put it on until after you buy it, right? Yeah. Yeah. So I want to start off this episode by saying, hey, AI is part of all of our lives. I mean, I don't care if it's negotiating this, writing an email, researching something. I mean, it's there. So in a lot of ways, I think it's good. Now, I want to get your kind of experience with it and what you think about it. And then I'm going to tell you what happened to me this week that caused the episode.
All right. As I dive in, hi, Pat. He'll have a beer for you next week. Just showed up on chat. So I don't even know, Pat, are you in town, or are you hiding out in your yard, or are you somewhere else? But I'm sure Mike will appreciate the beer next week. So one of the things I did is I watched the Chat GPT 5 release. If you haven't watched that release, there's a video it's quite a long video, and it's the official release from OpenAI about ChatGPT 5 and their release. 2 reasons to watch this. Number one is it's quite staggering how far they've come in 6 months, and some of the things they've done to reduce the number of hallucinations and to give background on their answers. And so they've done some really good things. The other reason to watch it is just hilarious, because there are a bunch of people there trying to look, I think, like the Apple presentations. Completely uncomfortable. It almost makes you feel uncomfortable watching them, because they're doing their damnedest, but it is quite hilarious because they are not comfortable on camera. And Sam Altman, I think, was probably leading the pack. It's pretty entertaining for the first little while. It's an hour long. It starts to get a little dull after that. But I got to say that every single day it gets smarter. And every 6 months they have a new release. And I'm just talking about ChatGPT, but everybody else is the same way. Copilot, DeepSeek, everybody's like release. it's getting so much better and so much smarter, so much faster that by the time you see this video, it's gotten better. It has gotten better, but it still does some stuff really quite poorly. And one of the things that I kind of thought was quite funny is it was a little joke. We were playing pool with some friends, and I don't know how it came up, but I went in and they were talking about AI, and I told it to make a picture of a guy playing pool with, like a hat on, just like my friend. So I could pull this up and show him, and it'd be kind of funny. Right. And they make the guy just jacked. Like his arms are just like, he's like Superman, just built. And I said, okay, make smaller arms, like not so big. And okay. And then it comes back. It's exactly the same. It was incapable of making a regular looking person that wasn't just like Superman. It's like, it felt like the only thing it had looked at was Marvel comics. And so it was, sometimes it's surprising how it gets on a tangent and it can't get off of it.
Well, I told you about making a picture of me and Courtney, and we wanted a silhouette of our backs, and they kept putting a hat on me. Like every man has to have a hat, right? like a fedora. Like, there's people just walking around in fedoras anymore. I'm like, hey, could you remove the hat? Oh yeah, here you go. Here's one without the hat. Oh my God. No, that's still a hat.
Still there. It gets totally lost. Yeah.
Yeah. And finally I'm like going, do you know what a hat is? Well, yeah, that person doesn't have a hat. What's that thing? So it's just like, yeah.
There's a hat above your eyes.
Yeah. So anyway, this week I was trying to create a document, and I don't like to use ChatGPT for really more than organization or thought, and it solves the blank paper syndrome very, very well. Like, I'm thinking this, but I don't know how to get started. Oh, well, here's a little outline of that, and think through it. So I'll use it for that. So I'm working on a document for a new client, and it produces something pretty well. I say, oh, but I want to change this, and this. It comes back with a complete different document with different things. like not anything we even talked about. I'm like going, hey, what happened to the document we were working on? They're going, oh, sorry about that. That must have been from something we talked about earlier. And I'm like going, no, we never talked about that at all. Like, I had no, meaning that what they had done somehow was take something that I did months and months ago. This is ChatGPT. Months and months ago, and say, well, he's talking about something type similar. Maybe we should combine it or change it or, do something way different. But it made it completely different and changed the whole context of the whole document. I'm trying to make a standard operating procedure of just, what's the rules when we have payables? What's the rules when we have receivables? I'm just trying to make that. And it goes and takes something out of an agreement and starts putting in how much I get paid and those type of things. Like going, those two things aren't even matching any of this, right? I mean, my agreement and the scope of work and my retainer and those type of things have nothing to do with creating standing operating procedure for how we're going to operate with invoices and bills.
Yeah. It can get lost. The prompts can make quite a massive difference, I've found. And I know there's people out there now doing courses on how to do prompts. I'm like, well, I don't know if I really need a course, but I have found when I shortcut my prompts, it gets a little lost. So I have to be very careful, very, very specific. And one of the things that ChatGPT 5 can do now is it can think. It can go into more depth on something, or it can do it the quick way. And so if you prompt it to say, give me a well thought out or thoughtful look at X or Y, that's one of the things you can do, and give it very specific step-by-step, it can start to pull these things out. And so I created a document a couple of days ago, and I had to do a lot of research for me, and then I had it start to format. But I bet you I had 10 or 15 versions of this. I got this whole project in ChatGPT. It is a lot, But when I was done, I had a really like it took a fair bit of work, but the amount of time it would have taken me to do all of that research and come up with the data that I needed, it would have been pretty onerous. And so this way, it moved really pretty quickly. And now I've got a really good foundational project, right? And I see we've got Rick wishing you a happy birthday in chat, and Pat chatting with us. And, and I think you're making fun of, it was my project or my project.
It was your project, but it was so pronounced. I'm like, oh, that sounded like a foreign word. It sounded like a whole different language when you said it.
I can't remember which is which. I just know it comes and goes. So I've got my Canadian.
I know exactly. Dude, I can tell. I don't even have to look at your background. I can tell if you're in Canada or the U.S. just by listening to your accent.
Yeah, I don't know. It sneaks in somehow. I don't know how.
So you're talking about this ChatGPT 5 and the thinking mode. That's the one that I'm most frustrated with is ChatGPT 5. I actually had to the problem I described to you just a little bit ago. I had to go back to 4.0 or 4.0 or what is that? What is that little? Is it 4.0? What is that thing?
Yeah, I don't remember what they called the last one.
4 crazy O.
Yeah, a little
4 crazy O.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it was weird.
I had to go back to the legacy mode, before it would actually go back to the original document, because I could not get it to go back. I could not get 5 to go, no, that doesn't exist. That's not what we're talking about anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then it asked me to upload. Yeah, because it's like, and then it had, 4.0 hadn't seen it. 5, I guess, had seen it and forgot that what we were talking about and made me upload the document 2 more times. And finally, I'm going, I'm going to try to see if 4.0 can do this, because 5 is like way off in left field. And I burned 2 hours on this thing between, typing in Word and getting it to where I wanted to say, hey, can you polish this up? Because I'm like off somewhere. There's something goofy about the organization what I just wrote. And it completely changed it to a whole different document. And I could not get it to think anything else.
Yeah. I found when I was working on this document yesterday that I don't know what, I think I asked it to do a white paper or something. And then it pulled it into its own little window and started building it in there. And then I kind of forced it to keep editing in there, and it kept overwriting. It actually worked really quite well. There's some of the nuances of how you get the system to do what you need it to do is tricky. And it's also for us to learn, because I know with this document is like, oh, it's getting better. Oh, this is really good. This is good. And then also it's like, what happened? It's way off. And then, it's like 1 step forward, 3 steps back. But then I could come back, doing the right prompt. All of a sudden it just went, oh, and it skipped all of them and came all the way forward. So there is something that where it's me learning how to make the most of it. But I also know in the end, it's making some really, really pretty good stuff. And at times it's saving me days and days of work and coming up with something that's really good. But it does take effort. It does take work. You can't let it do everything on its own. It's not going to be very good.
No, I mean, there's still got to be a person involved. I mean, and what are they calling us now? Prompt engineers? Because you're right. I mean, the way you ask the question matters. And I've noticed the broader I make it, the worse it is. Because if you make it broad and try to say, okay, let me just start somewhere. I'll give them a broad, big project, and I say, I'll manipulate it down to what I want. You scale it down. Yep. Nah, it's not doing that. You got to start off with small. And then if you start off with small and try to change something that goes backwards, it also throws it off. And by backwards, I mean is if you do things in a logical order sequentially and go, oh, now I have an idea to change the first part. Oh, you just fucked up the whole document or the whole process. Oh, you just really did, because then it's way off. It cannot like spaghetti code anything.
Okay, here's a little trick. And you're probably doing this already, but I just discovered it. If I'm going backwards like that, highlight it And then when you highlight it, and then click ask chat, and it'll bring a little field and it'll address that one little thing you highlighted. And so that's the way I could go change this title or change this bullet point because of this.
No, wait a second. What is that? That might be life changing for me. I'm not doing that already. What is that?
Yeah. So if you go back anywhere in a document, you highlight it, a little bubble will pop up that'll say ask chat. Click there and it'll bring up a field, and then you're addressing just what's highlighted. And so you can say, make me a new title and do this or reference this, and then it'll do just that one little piece. And that seemed to be pretty helpful.
Yeah. Hey, did you also notice that it always puts these special characters in the background? Have you ever seen that? If you copy and paste, now I'm telling you guys this right now, people can call your ass out quick, right? Because ChatGPT will put these special formatting characters in the background of the text. And so anybody that it's in the formatting of it, they can tell if it was produced by you or ChatGPT. So don't think you're going to fool somebody. Now, part of it is just listening to the way it's written. They're like, "Oh, that's not Mike." Right? I mean, so that's part of it. The second part of it is it puts other characters you can see. Like none of us use long dashes and things like that, or the way they word things. There's ways that people can tell if you're using ChatGPT. So I like to use it to give me thought, maybe polish something up. I'm okay with being caught with a few things, but don't send somebody a whole document that's ChatGPT because they're going to call you out on it. And now there's these AI detectors. Have you seen the websites that are free AI detectors? You can take something that somebody sent to you, copy and paste it, throw it in there, and it will show you all the special characters. There's like this brackets U plus O1 something or another in between some of the word spacing.
Yeah, I think it's one of the most, for the most part, a pretty useless tool. And I'll tell you why, because honestly, if the content is what the person wants, to me, I'm like, why would you spend, especially let's say I was doing a contract or something, be like, you're charging me. Why would you spend your time typing that? I'd almost put in and look at it the other way. You wrote all of that yourself. Do you not know anything?
Yeah.
To me, it's like they're using a typewriter instead of like, it just is, it's kind of getting to the point where it's flipped for me. Like you babysit it, you make sure it's getting out what you need. But if you're doing something in the most inefficient way, just to feel like I typed it myself, you're not innovating. You're not moving in the right direction. You're going backwards.
Well, and that goes to the point of AI is going to take my job. No, somebody that knows how to use AI is going to take your job.
Exactly.
That's exactly what that means. But I just want people to know that if you're producing books, because I see people out there using AI and all that to produce a blog, if you want to claim it as original or any of those type of things, you're going to get caught. You're going to get caught.
Yeah. I think you just be really clear that it's like, you can be totally clear about and say, hey, this is, I use tools because I've got a brain. I'm using a tool like everybody else. If you think I'm going to type a 2,000 word essay when somebody, when I can prompt it and make sure that it's right in a quarter of the time or whatever, it's ridiculous. And even books, like I get that there's a bajillion books out there. They're just spewing stuff out. And I don't know if they have a ton of value, but if the ideas and the insights are really smart and they're using AI to string words together, to like as I'm telling you, someone that's like a ghostwriter almost, hey, this is what I'm talking about. This is the point I need to get across. And someone's stringing words together. Good for them, because I just do not see the point of this book's going to have more value because somebody sat there on a typewriter and typed in every word. Give me something that's, I care more about your insight. And in fact, I'll be honest with you, I'm spending less time on books and way more time on video these days because I like to see and hear and feel and get the gist. I watched about an hour-long video interview with the CEO of NVIDIA the other day. Incredibly interesting, incredibly bright, incredibly interesting, so insightful. And but it was also really interesting to hear what he was sort of passionate about. You can see and you can feel all of that. It's also topical. This was probably recorded in the last few days and it's out there and I can get to it. Right. So I think there's a lot of value to that. I'm starting to see less value in somebody saying I used a typewriter and typed out every word myself. Okay, well, good for you. Did you tie your own shoes too? Like, there you go.
Well, speaking of getting a lot of value, I mean, I know one place in the world that if you got a lot of data, you got a big company, you got things that are going on, you got a just chaos of data around you, and you want to make sense of it and get control of your finances, you should check out Dry Run, right? What do you think about that?
Absolutely. If you're a CFO or you're head of a finance team and you guys are forecasting in a spreadsheet, forecasting cash flow, but also forecasting revenue, forecasting demand, comparing scenarios, moving money between entities, come and talk with us at dryrun.com because we're going to save you a ton of time and we're going to make you a lot of money. And in fact, just to be a little bit topical on here, I actually had AI build a little calculator where you can put in the revenue for your company and it'll just give you a quick snapshot of the amount of money you're likely bleeding out the bottom of your business and also the amount of revenue that you may be able to increase in your business by forecasting. And then there's an article underneath that will explain why. And I will change the URL after this episode. So go to dryrun.com/ROI. I'll change it to that so it's really easy to find. And I will say that little calculator was made by AI, and the article was, in the end, most of the stringing together of the words was AI. Now, I worked with it for, frankly, probably a lot of hours over 2 days to get what I needed out of it and it was almost like a little research project of back and forth. But what it pulled out, I think, was really interesting. So go to dryrun.com/ROI and plug something in and you'll see a little magic there.
That's what I like about you, man. You always just stick to your knitting. I mean, I don't care if it's Dry Run, ROI calculators, you just get it in there.
Well, and we added a little fiddle hopper right to the website.
Good one, man. That's actually a good one. That was a good use of it. So, all right. Hey, if you haven't, go check out Dry Run. Matter of fact, I've got a client right now we are going to test Dry Run with, and I'm going to tell you, it's going to change your life. It is really going to change that CEO's life because he needs clarity, he needs visibility, and we're going to give it to him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, all right. Nice. So it's when you talked about building that, all right. So I've been testing with kind of a version 2 of my app, with some AI. I'm trying to put AI more into it. And in some places, I've been trying these no code, low code AIs. Mm-hmm. And my overall experience, I'm saying, damn, that's really good. But when it's bad, it's really bad, right? Like hours wasted bad, right? Because I've spent time, like meticulous time on the way I want something calculated or displayed or otherwise. And as you go to deploy it, there'll be an error of something that you didn't expect. Like, you should know that. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to put a parentheses there. Or I forgot to put a comma there. I'm like, dude, if anybody in the world that should never miss a parentheses or a comma, it should be you. You should be like, oh, sorry, I didn't understand the question. Not missed a comma or parentheses. I'm thinking they should always be correct on that. And then if in these low or no code app builders, it will say we can resolve it with AI. I can fix it myself. Okay, well, go fix it yourself. Sometimes when it fixes itself, the way it does it is by removing other pieces you've already built and spent hours on. And said, hey, I fixed it. No, you bypassed it. The problem was probably in the place you removed. Right? Yeah. You know what I mean? Which caused, and then you got to figure out, okay, well, what the hell else is broke? Because if you got multi-stages in this app or pages and tabs and different conditional, things that are happening, dude, it's like it's whack-a-mole all day long with this thing.
Yeah. Well, okay. First of all, when you say no code, I don't think we're there yet. I think it's low
No.
code. Um, and even this little widget thing I built yesterday, um, I could go in and edit the code, and it was honestly just faster and easier for me. But it was like wrote it all, and then I could go in and start tweaking a few things here. And it's not like I'm a programmer, but there's little things I can go changing this. I'm not asking it to do it. I'm changing it. I'm going to do this, that, and the other.
Yeah, same way.
I also think it's good for some. Right now, it's good for some basic tasks. You cannot build it's like you can't build Adobe Photoshop right now. Like there is some really serious limits to it. I don't know if it'll ever get to that point. If it got to the point where you could use AI to build Photoshop, you're probably you might be able to do it yourself. You're probably still at it for a year. Like there's a lot that would I think have to be done, and I don't know if it'll get to a point where it's really reasonable there. But for little things like what I did, little quick calculator to just help people understand what it adds a lot of richness. It is really powerful there. But I'm going to dispute a little bit here because you're holding it to a bar that's like awfully high. I have contracted living, breathing humans before that have been, it has not worked at all. Like, and the problems can compound if you don't have really good contractors, really good developers. We're talking, it could take 6 months to get something that is totally broken, not work, and move on. So, take it with a grain of salt too.
All right. So I'll be honest about that, right? V1 of my app, 2 years to get it to where it is now. V2, month and a half, maybe 2 months to get it 190% more.
Yeah.
If not double. And I still think I'm 80% short of deployment, meaning of release.
There's two sides here. Like my co-founder, our CTO, he leverages AI like you wouldn't believe, but also on one side, he'll say it saves us weeks. On the other side, it's never right. But it can really cut down time. But, talking about, that's where AI, where like the software you've built or when we build a dry run, there are so many levels of sophistication and there's so many points of where you're building software for people, and you're building software for people where it's more of a platform and they can make connections, and it's got a strategy behind it. It's got some rhyme and rhythm and color to it, and it makes sense, and it solves these problems. It solves a big problem, and there's lots of little things that connect to solve that big problem. That's what takes a long time to figure out, the first version of it, to lay out the map and figure all of that out. And that's not something AI is necessarily good at. It's not good at making these, what we would see as a normal connection, and it goes, these are unrelated. It does not do a good job of that. Once that's all figured out, and it can build a little component here or there, or it can help you with something, it can be a massive time saver. But it still falls well short of knowing how people operate and work.
Yeah, I think you're right. You're not building Photoshop. I mean, it's pretty good at these little calculators and stuff, though, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, to put that out there, it's way better than what we've had in the past. Even doing it yourself, right? I mean, putting your website. But man, I tell you, it's just frustrating because there's been times like Courtney will say like, "What the hell are you doing?" I'm like going, "Dude, I think I'm going to change the world with this app," and then all of a sudden I'm stuck for a week because I can't get past one spot. Now, the cool thing about the product I've been using is I can revert back. So even if it gets way off track, I can go back to a place, and everybody goes like, "Yeah, save, dumbass." Now this is better than save. This is it's like I can revert a message that I gave it, like on, "Oh yeah, we tried these things and you got way down a rabbit hole. I'm going to revert back to where I liked it." Right. And then start over. And I'll even tell it, "Hey, last time we did this, you screwed up 17 things. And here are the 17 things." Don't do
Yeah.
and it's always like, it's always like, oh, I'm so sorry. You're right. I bet it's frustrating.
Yeah. You better hope it stays like that. At some point, it's not like, screw you, I'm out.
Yeah, like
I'm
going,
blowing all your stuff up.
yeah, that's right. Here's what it looks like to be really frustrated.
Yeah, exactly. Suddenly the robot kicking down the front door. It's taking over the lawnmower.
Like, where did the dog go? It had some dog whistle thing that pulled it into another room where it got sucked into the vacuum. The internet's just taking over things. Yeah.
Yeah, we laugh now. At some point we have our AI overlords telling us what whiskey to drink.
Hey, that's why you have to say please, you have to say thank you. I don't do it every time, but I do it a lot. Right.
I do too.
I haven't cussed it. I haven't yelled at it. I will say, why did you do that? I said, why did you do it this way? Because I want to understand. Because if I could ask it why and it answer it, I'm not going, oh, I know how to avoid it the next time I go through that process.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it is weird, but I the way it's learning, I just have this feeling that actually being polite, it will recognize and actually, I don't know if it'll do a better job or not, but I'm not taking the chance because, and the other side of it is I feel like I'm talking with a person, not a robot. And so there's sort of one side for me, one side for them by just sort of being polite and trying to be very specific with what I'm asking and all of that. Yeah, it's a bizarre sort of world.
All right. So right before this episode, Courtney and I had a conversation about the old AOL chat rooms. You remember that? Like, I'm talking about 90s.
Vaguely.
Talk to strangers.
Yeah. No, I don't think I ever used the AOL one. We had, I know it's more like instant messaging in our office. That was, I remember some of the super early ones. I can't even remember what products it were.
Yeah, no. Yeah, this isn't in the office. This is, I'm way out in the world from a house in Texas, right? I'm like going, I don't know who this is. I just know him as Teddy Bear 123 or whatever that is. That's how it was. That's where all these rules came up. Where like, hey, stop talking to people on the internet. You think it's a 14-year-old boy and it's a 57-year-old man, or something like that, right?
Yeah, you don't want to be well, and that's where a lot of the rules came in. And it's like, yeah, you have to have some guardrails and some safety nets and that, especially for like a 14-year-old, like you have to have guardrails and safety around that. And it's hard. I can't even imagine how they build out and what they're capable of to build security. I'm guessing this opens some rabbit holes that we haven't even seen yet with AI.
Well, it just happened with, I think it was Meta or somebody that had some type of AI communication, and they had put policy, the legal department had put policies in place of what's acceptable to say to minors and what's not. And some of the stuff was pretty risque. Like, oh, I don't know if I need a 10-year-old to hear. And it wasn't X-rated, but it was like going, whisper in your ear, rub close against your body. Do you need a 10-year-old to say that or hear that? I don't know. So I'm like going, it's one of those things where you still don't know who's on the other side of this. We don't really know and understand AI. Do we want our children to have a personal relationship? People are creating AI boyfriends. I saw an ad on Facebook or whatever the other day to create a Facebook girlfriend or AI girlfriend. I don't know who I'm talking. It's the same thing as the AOL chat rooms. That's where we got to this, like going, you don't know who's on the other side doing these things, saying these things, even if it's a robot.
Yeah, there's I think the pendulum has to swing back a little at some point where people start taking a little bit more control of their lives back, right? And who was it? One of the big billionaires the other day said, you won't be competitive in this world unless you have smart glasses in the coming years. And I just
already tried that. Yeah,
you're out to lunch. And Like, when the Apple Watches came out, I was one of the first ones to get an Apple Watch, and guess what? Like, manual. What?
I got one
I
sitting
love
in
my
there.
little
Yeah,
manual watches. I got
I
a
wear a
record
regular
player.
watch.
Yeah, got a record player right here playing vinyl. I have a lot of analog. And then I got my phone in my pocket. And you know, when they say, oh, the phone will be replaced by glasses, I refuse to have shit in front of my face when I don't want it. Because one of the most powerful things is leaving my phone in my pocket, because the thing buzzes all the time. And that's why I quit wearing the Apple Watch, because it buzzed all the time. And I literally shut off all the notifications. And pretty soon I'm like, I'm just going to an analog watch. So I want something there. But most importantly, I want to be able to ignore it until it's the right time for me to engage with it. I can't even imagine having something on my face where it is intrusive. I'm having a conversation with somebody and stuff's blinking in my face. You got to be kidding me. Like, there's no way, right?
Well, if there's one thing we learned over the last 5 years is that we got to stop listening to everybody that's a billionaire, because everything to do is a marketing message.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right? Because they're driving you to do something. Even that statement, you'll need glasses. Well, if I go listen to that guy, well, he probably owns something with the glasses.
Glasses.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like, they're building their own market. They're like De Beers. They're like, Coca-Cola. They build their own market by telling people that they need them. And
Yeah.
so I think the way people react is going to be a little bit different. And I do think generation by generation, things will swing back and forth a little bit. In person, I think, is going to get more and more important. And I think the number of doohickeys that are connected and buzz all of the time will come down. I think it'll come down and
Yeah. I mean, we definitely need to bifurcate, expert from propagandist.
Yep.
And I don't know if that's the two pendulum swings or not, but I want to look at somebody because I think they have value and they add something. I don't want to be sold every time I talk to them.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, exactly. And I think it all depends on individuals too. Like, I know you can get a robot to cut your lawn. I'm just looking at my lawn out here, and like, I could have a robot to cut the lawn, but it's like, well, yeah, but what if you like cutting the lawn? What if you like working on the yard? You're going to want the manual one. So I think there's always room. I read most of the books I read on my iPad because it's just easy to get them at a library, easy to return them. I can see them in kind of any light. There's lots of really good things, but there's been a couple of books I couldn't get an iPad. I got the analog version of a book, right? And there's something really enjoyable about reading a book with actual paper. So I think the futurists oftentimes talk about the extremes, and it's that you see the extremes, but most people, I think, just kind of hang around a little bit in the middle. That's how it is.
I think that's us, kind of the middle guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, I mean, because when we promote something, we tell you we're promoting something.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think we're trying to be experts to guide you towards making a decision. We're like, hey, here's our beer sponsors. Go see their stuff. Here's Dry Run. Go check that out. Right?
Exactly. Like,
there's no hidden message.
There's no hidden messages, and there's no big dollars behind this show. Speaking of which, if you want to be a beer sponsor, go to mikeandblaine.com. All you have to do is pay $5, buy us a beer, and you get 1 week sponsorship. You can even buy it to the end of the year. There we go. I'm going to put on my my sales hat.
It's a pitch.
Right,
a pitch.
I'm pitching like a mother trucker.
Yeah, but if you were trying to be, everybody in the world is going to have to, at least find a place to sponsor in the world. Right? That would be the subliminal, like, well, maybe I should sponsor this show.
Yeah, no, it'll be, I think we've seen over the years, much, much more nuanced, and there'll be, everything will be on a spectrum, right? So it's, some people will stay all analog, some people will be all digital, but most of the people be somewhere stuck in the middle and using what they want here and cutting out things they don't want there. And that's quite all right. until the robots tell us what we have to do because they've taken over the world.
Larry said, check my email. Is that came in during the show? Does that, did he send something or is this something extra?
Nothing in chat. So yeah, it's probably in your email. Lots in chat. I see that you guys are talking about my great Canadian wool shirt here instead of my usual hoodie.
Yeah. Take off your hoser.
This is dressed up as it gets. I had a presentation earlier today and I'm like, wow, I should probably have a collar instead of a hoodie for this one. So I put this on, except I had it buttoned up. Like, there we go.
That's still one of my favorite all-time comedies, like in sketches.
Bob and Doug.
Who was it? Yeah, Bob and Doug, right? McKenzie brothers. I don't know the one, but it wasn't it Dana Carvey and I forget the other one.
It was Dave Thomas and Rick Moranis.
Oh, Rick Moranis. That's right. Not Dana Carvey. Yeah, Rick Moranis. Yeah. I just, and they made a movie, right? Called The Great White North.
Strange Brew. Sorry,
damn it.
Too much about to say.
Oh, maybe it's a song. The song was The Great White North.
Great. The song is Great White North. Take off to the Great White North. Take off. Be the way to go. Yeah, I know. We know all that up in Canada. And the Strange Brew was a classic. I'm sure if you watch it now, quite awful. It was probably quite awful at the time, just in, it's just slapstick, silly comedy.
But we were like really teenagers, and it was awesome.
And it was awesome, and it was still awesome. I watched clips on YouTube of Bob and Doug one time not too long ago, and those guys, they're still funny. It's still really pretty funny to watch. So,
all right. So hey, this is 204. 204. We got been in the books, and we are on the verge of football season. Right. So everything changes.
I did my draft yesterday.
Okay. Who'd you take number one pick? Or your first pick, not number one pick, first pick?
I don't remember. I don't even think I knew who it was.
You said that out loud in front of people.
Oh, I know, because I know what I'm doing on Sundays. On Sundays, where I watch the odd Monday night or Thursday night, but on Sundays, we're out riding our bikes, going to breweries and stuff. And I actually don't watch as much NFL as I used to, but I'm in this league for years. And, it's funny because I walked into the draft room and I said, fellas, you'll notice my draft today will be remarkably similar to an auto draft. And basically I went in order with what they recommended. And then I got almost all the way through the draft and went, oh shit, I haven't got a quarterback yet. And it's a 2-quarterback league. And I looked and everyone had taken all the good quarterbacks. And so I kind of wrapped it up. And then Yahoo graded me as an A-. It was the highest, tied with someone else in the league, as the highest grade. And I'm like, I don't think they know what they're talking about. But I did this last year and it was one of my best years. If I pick, I'm going to get killed.
Hey, who graded you?
The robots in Yahoo that decided, because I basically used their picks. And so unsurprisingly, they said, you're really smart using our picks. And they graded my draft at A-. And I laughed because because all I did was basically almost, not completely, semi-auto picked my entire team. So I don't know.
I love how you say I love how you say the name of that company.
Yahoo?
Is that how you say it?
Yeah. What would you call it?
Yahoo.
Did I not say it the same way?
Probably, but it sounded different because you got a Canadian accent.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the Americans would be like pasta. It would be Yahoo. Yahoo.
I thought it was Yahoo.
And I probably said Yahoo because we do pasta, Mazda.
No, you said it way different than both of those. I'm like, what company was that? What are they doing? This is something new?
I walked into a coffee shop last week and I ordered an Americano. And I think the lady almost threw me out.
You probably got a Coors Light. Here's a Coors Light.
What's an Americano? It's like Americano. It's Americano. So up here it's Americano, and then I get down to the States and now I've got conditioned Americano. That's just I don't know. We talk weird up here, or you talk weird down there. One or the other.
Yeah, we love each other. We're like brothers.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, exactly. 204 in the books. That was the whiskey episode, and it was not as sloppy. I won't be in as much trouble as last year.
That is true. I this was a delicious scotch, but I just had a really light pour. It was great.
Yeah.
So happy birthday, early birthday, because tomorrow's the actual day, right?
Tomorrow's the day. Yeah, this is Thursday. Birthday's on Friday.
So this is the birthday episode, even though we're maybe a little bit too early. And Rick,
Look
two Yahoos arguing about Yahoo.
Oh, that's funny. Rick's got jokes.
Good.
Every once in a while, Rick's funny.
Call, Rick.
You should have him put it on the Mike and Blaine Facebook, the STFU phone, and explain that. So that's something to look forward to. Go to the Facebook page.
All right.
Rick will put it up there, and he'll tell the story.
Check out their website at mikeandblaine.com. Then subscribe to the podcast and buy these guys a beer.